Okay, Mike, you can y'all hear me now? What about now? What about now? I, damn, so I just thought that whole class, the microphone. Uh, all right, don't sweat, don't sweat. All right, can you hear me now? Somebody putting ones and twos in there. What is that? Most High in Christ. All right. So you just missed everything, huh? All right, so I gotta go back all over that. That's cool. So look, so going back to the beginning, right? For those of you who couldn't hear because of I was just blaming everything on Esau. All right. Um, and I'll just give a basic synopsis of what happened. Um, we're talking about how somebody laughing. We're talking about how from the beginning of the time I'm going through and I explained that the men of the Lord, the Most High, always has chosen a man or a nation of people. And I went from the beginning with Adam and Eve and how he took Adam, the Adam that we know in the book of Genesis, and plucked him from all the other Adams and put him in the Garden of Eden. And then he took a wife that was from the same kindred as Adam from all the other Eves and put her in the Garden of Eden. You understand? And those two had a son, two sons, Abel and Cain. And from Abel and Cain being upset because the Lord favored Abel's uh, offering, you understand, or sacrifice, and he disliked Cain's sacrifice because it wasn't of the Lord. Also stating that Adam, that breath of life that was breathed into his nostrils was the law, statutes, and commandments, and he taught his children to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. And when he done that, Cain was upset and he unalived his brother Abel. So the Lord sent Cain to another land, which also explains to you that it wasn't just Adam and Eve, because how in the hell can Cain go to another land and it be women there? Not one, but two. I think Cain had two wives, right? Or his son Lamech had two wives. You understand? Which lets you know that people dwelled outside of the land of Eden, Eden. Okay, the Garden of Eden, and there was other people around. Moving forward, Adam and Eve had the opportunity to have another son whose name was Self. Through Self, men started to call on the Lord again, started to follow the law, statutes, and commandments that God had put down on earth. And Self's descendant, Noah, his son, Shem. Noah being perfect and just in his generation. Shem, the Shemitic people, being the people of God. The people of God, multiple people. God always had a man or a particular nation of people that he dealt with. From Shem, you understand, was Abram. And the Lord chose Abram or Abraham to be his favorite, okay? And they missed a lot of them questions, boy. That was some good ass questions right there. Oh well. Anywho. Uh so now moving forward, we up to Abram, right? Abram's wife Sarah gave her handmaid, who was a Egyptian, a heathen, from the generations of Ham, who were not our people. That was divided. You understand? They didn't belong to us. She gave her to Abraham to have a son or a child because she was barren. The Lord had came to Abraham and Sarah and told them that they were going to have a son in their old age. Sarah and Abraham was old. They were real old. Be having some kids, man. You understand? Um, Sarah gave Hagar to, I'm trying to sum it up. Sarah gave Hagar to her husband, Abraham. After having the baby, she despised her because she was afraid, that Abram would, not love her anymore. And he explained to her, you do as you please with this heathen, you understand? And Hagar tried to run away. When Hagar tried to run away, an angel appeared to her and told her to go back. He gave her a blessing. He didn't give her a blessing because she was a heathen. He gave her a blessing because For one, she had Abraham's son inside of her. And two, she was obedient. Those were the only two reasons why any heathen should ever give any kind of recognition in your life. You understand? Um, Somebody right there? Okay, no sweat. All right, so now jumping up to chapter 17. Anybody got any questions online about what I just talked about? Okay, moving on. Anybody in the classroom? We're good to go? All right, let's get it. Chapter 17, verse 1 says, and when Abram was 90 years old and 99 years old, right? So the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God. Walk before me and be thou perfect. This is another instance where a man is perfect in the Bible. A man is perfect in the Bible. We had Noah, now we got Abraham. It says, I will make my covenant, a covenant is a promise, between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, as for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, not the whole earth. Thou shalt be a father of many nations. Neither shall thy name any more be Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham. For a father of many nations have I made thee. That's what the word Abraham means. Okay? You got something, sis? No sweat. It says, and I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. And I will establish my covenant, my promise, between me and thee and thy seed, his children, after thee in their generations, for an everlasting covenant. What is everlasting? Anybody know? How long is everlasting? Huh? Forever. So what the hell going on there? Huh? You think God like, okay, I'm done with the promise that I made to Abraham? It's over with. He said, everlasting covenant, an everlasting promise, to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee. So anybody that got this promise or anybody that got this connection with God, they were going to be received to the Most High. They were going to be blessed. They were going to be loved by the Most High God. They would be taken care of, right? They were going to be kings. So if you're a person on the earth and you know, and I'm talking about a particular group of people, and you know that the God of the Bible, if I say that I'm the seed of Abraham, then I'm good. If anybody that believe in the Bible, they got to know that they got to recognize me. That's what you see right now with those fake Jewish people, those Israelis over there. Because they attach themselves to the Bible, now everybody believes that they are the real Israelites and that they are the Israelites of the Bible. If you ask any black, Hispanic, and Native American man, woman, or child that's outside these doors, who are they? And then they tell you who they are. They say African American or Negro or Christian, whatever the hell they got in their mind. And you say, no, you're not, you're Israelite. And the first thing pop up their mouth is, no, man, no Israelite. You know why they say that? They say that because the only people that they can recognize being an Israelite is a pale color, is of the land of Israelis, is the Jewish people with the damn funny looking hats and the long ponytails on the side of their face that dance in the middle of the street and get drunk and got goddamn tunnels underneath they synagogues, right? And trafficking people. You understand? They if you don't look like the color of that wall back there, you can't be recognized as being a real Jew. And that's why it's so important that we go through these things and find out what's the reason I wanted to start from the beginning is show the significance of being an Israelite. That the Lord is dealing with you. He made a promise to Abraham, right? So we're reading the promise. He said, an everlasting covenant, which is a promise to be a God unto thee, meaning nobody else, that they God, and to thy seed after thee. You understand? It says, let's drop down. Drop down to verse 9. And God said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee, every man child among you. So he going through and telling him what he's supposed to do, right? Now let's get to the birth of Isaac, and then I got a couple more scriptures, okay? Then I'm gonna open up the room for questions. Um, Jump down to verse 15. It says, And God said unto Abraham, As for Sarah thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarah, but Sarah, right? Or Sarai in the Hebrew, shall her name be. And I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be her. Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed, and said in his heart meaning his mind, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? He like, damn, I'm 100, Lord. What you mean? and shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? Like, she 90 years old, can she have some kids? Like, this is wild. And Abraham said unto God, Oh, that Ishmael might live before thee. This is to clear up some things about Ishmael. Because you got a lot of people believing that they Muslim, and that Abraham or Salaki, that Ishmael was a chosen one. Okay, that was a lie. It says, And God said unto Sarah, Thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. So now the blessing goes to who? Isaac. Isaac gets the promise now, and who else gets the promise from Isaac? His children, right? So now it says, and Ishmael, as for Ishmael, I have heard thee, because he know about what Sarah did with the Hagar, right? He said, Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant, my promise, will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year. You got a question? Okay. It says, but Salaki, and he left off talking with him, and God went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were brought with his money, every male among so you're going through and circumcising. Let's get down to Sarah. Hold on 1 second. Let's see what I want. Um, Hold on 1 second. I ain't gotta read all that. Yeah, let's go to let's read verse 10. All right. Matter of fact, yeah, we can start. Verse 10 says, And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to thy time of life. And lo, Sarah, thy wife, shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door, which was behind him. So she in the back lurking, right? Eavesdropping, like some women do. You know what I'm saying? And like y'all was seeing them TikToks, the women be standing backside listening to her husband talk. Y'all gonna beat me up at this thing, huh? Verse 11. Um, Now Abraham and Sarah were old and well striking in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah again the matter of women. Therefore, what does that mean? Anybody? My bad. So, Genesis chapter 18, verse 11. You got it? I'm reading. It says, Abraham and Sarah were old and well striking in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. Meaning what? What happens with women? They get to a certain age. They stop what? They stop having, the normal flower that they would have, right? So, now her stuff not working like it normally will, right? So now she really questioning her mind, like, I ain't gonna have no damn baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm barely having a flower right now. I'm having heat flashes and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if the sister's having heat flashes or not, all right? Verse 12. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself and saying, after I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure? My Lord being old also. So she like, what you mean? I'm gonna have pleasure? Like, y'all understand what I'm saying, right? Like she like, what you mean? I'm just gonna have sex. We having sex. You know what I'm saying? So she laughing like, damn, I ain't finna have no damn baby. I'm old. What you talking about? Uh, the Lord said unto Abraham, wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, shall I of a surely bear a child which I am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord? Like, come on, man. He overheard her. He like, is it too hard for me? Like all the things you done been through? Y'all ain't got to question what I am. And that go for a lot of y'all with a lot of situations that you go through in life, whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? You can't look at it like, well, damn, I don't know if this gonna happen or, this hard. Life been hard since you came out your mama's vagina, whether you a male or a female. Life been hard since you first took those first couple steps. Life been hard, you understand, throughout all your generation, throughout all your lifetimes being on earth. Life been hard. The problem is you ain't been realizing that God, the Most High God, been with you all those times. The Most High God been with you all those times. You understand? So because of that, you got to start looking at life like, I can make it happen. You got to start looking at life like, you know what? This ain't that big of a deal. Okay, the rent didn't get paid this week, but God is with me. You understand? Yeah, you got to start looking at life like, man, ain't nothing hard. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing too big for me to conquer. God with me. God was with me when, I was trying to figure out how to cut the stove on or how to put this one foot towards the other. You know what I'm saying? Or how to whatever the hell been hard for you, supposedly hard in life, you made it past it and got to where you at. The problem is you just wanted to be weak. A lot of problems with brothers and sisters is they just allow themselves to continue to be weak and to continue, shalom, brother, continue to, what I'm saying, disarray and cause confusion in themselves with God. When the reality is the Most High always been with us. You know what I'm saying? So God, like, well, shit, ain't nothing. Is that too hard for me to do? You know what I'm saying? Abraham, I done gave you the land of Canaan. I done allowed you to have a son and this and that. Like, come on, man. You gotta roll with me on this. You know what I'm saying? So verse 14, right? It says, is anything too hard for the Lord? At the time appointed, I will return unto thee according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. Then Sarah denied, saying, I laugh not, for she was afraid. And he said, Nay, but thou didst laugh. And the men rose up from this and looked towards Sodom, and Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. So when you think, so like with the Lord, right? A lot of y'all think, you know what I'm saying, y'all just be talking to yourself. And some of y'all think y'all be talking directly to God, though, which is fine, because the Lord do hear and the angels do hear. But some of y'all think that when you do something and nobody's around, nothing's going to happen. Well, that's a lie. The Lord might not spank you now, but He'll spank you later. Matter of fact, the God of Israel might not even touch you. He might touch somebody else that's close to you. That's the type of power that our God got. You know what I'm saying? He might not do something directly to you now, but the next lifetime you might come back. That's why that man They were sitting out there. The Pharisees, the apostles, they was asking Christ, like, man, what did he do? You know what I'm saying? Was it his mama, his daddy, or was it him that sinned? Like, why is he blind? You feel me? Because the Lord allow you to go through this type of infliction and do it and happen to you now, and then he'll turn around and allow something else to happen to you next time. Until, of course, till Christ come back, right? All right, so we got Abraham, we got Sarah, we got their names being changed. We went from Adam to Seth to Lamech to Noah to Shem to Abraham and now Isaac, right? Remember I said that the Lord always had a special group of people, a particular group of people, or he dealt with a particular person, right? And now he making a promise to Abraham that his son Isaac, he's going to keep that promise forever with them. You understand? With his son and with Isaac and with Isaac's sons. Okay. Um, let's go to last week we did. Let's go to chapter 21. Genesis, the book of Genesis, chapter 21, and let's read verse 1 on down. Okay. Um, the book of Genesis, chapter 21. Verse 1, it says, and the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, right? And the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham's a son in his old age, and that set time of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him. Okay, remember you kept saying like, well, dang, why they keep saying Hagar, you know what I'm saying? The Egyptian, because they wanted to put a difference between what God said to do and what Sarah had decided to do. Sarah's decision was to get her handmaid and give it to her husband, which nobody told her to do that. No angel told her to do it. The angel said she was going to have a child, but she was like, hell no, I ain't going to have no damn child. I'm old. You know what I'm saying? I can't even bear children. So I'm gonna give my husband my handmaid, who is a heathen, right? So it says, for Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son, Isaac, being 8 days old, as God had commanded him. Of course, you know, during the time of Abraham, the Lord told him to circumcise the men that was in his family, that was in journeying with him, that was in his country, right? And the requirement was that if you were born a male child, you would be circumcised. You had to be circumcised within 8 days, right? This significant thing was saying that you were um, of the Lord. You understand that you kept the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay. Uh, mhm.
What is the reason that they do it now in America? Is it the same reason, or is it just?
No, it has nothing to do. The significant. I'll give you a good example, right? A comparison. The same reason we got this law system. This law system that you hear about is actually a brief summary or a disrespect to what our law system would be. For instance, um, if a man if a man and a woman was caught in adultery, right? What would happen to that man and woman? They'd be stoned to death. Sit down, look at the system that we have now. If you commit a certain crime, it's a certain punishment that comes behind that. Same thing with these. At one point in time, America would take. I'm trying to see how I can put it, because I don't want to just say America, right? Another good example, the ambulance, right? What's on the back of the ambulance? Anybody know? With a serpent. What's the significance of the staff and the serpent? And, huh?
Moses.
You saying Moses, but what's the significance of it? Why is a staff and a serpent on the back of an ambulance? What is the ambulance? The ambulance is for what?
Rescue, help.
Say it again.
Rescue, help.
Help, healing, right? So they took the staff and the serpent and they utilized that and put it on the back of an ambulance because it's significant for the healing of Israel. Them circumcising people, which let me ask you something. I know time done changed a lot. Are they still circumcising children? Because a lot of men are not circumcised.
It's a choice.
That's a choice now, right?
Yeah, it's a choice, but that was a covenant between Abraham and God.
Right.
Then, and in our society today, there's a semblance,
Uh-huh.
I guess, for lack of a better term, of the law.
Okay.
It's like you look at our courthouses, they have the Ten Commandments,
Mm-hmm.
and the statutes of Moses, seemingly saying that, and to your point, seemingly, I guess, saying that there's a measure of law
Mm-hmm.
established by God, but yet man doesn't necessarily, to your point, go by God's
They make
law.
their own laws.
Right, because according to man, there's crime and then there's sin. All crime ain't sin.
Right.
All sin ain't crime. Like adultery. Adultery is a sin, but it's not a crime to man because look at Hollywood.
Uh-huh.
It's
They do.
okay.
They run rapid.
Right.
That's right.
It's all day, every day, but it's not per se a crime. As opposed to God's law, it's still sin.
Right. Now, I will say this. Some of the part of the reason why they do circumcise now is because there's been studies, and I'm not taking it for Esau, but there's been studies that if a man doesn't get circumcised, there's a great possibility that he could infect a woman with a virus called what is it? HPV, right? HPV, yeah. And then also it's other like the reason the circumcision, the importance of it was because it allowed a man to be clean when he dealt with a woman. The foreskin of a man covers. Oh, I'm not being too graphic. Covers the part of the man, right? And in covering that part, it doesn't. The man, in order for him to actually clean it, he has to pull that skin back. And a lot of men uh, have not been taught that. You understand? So there's a lot of things that come from that. That may be the reason why they do it, or it may be the reason, maybe they just like playing with penises. Salakia. That's just them. You know what I'm saying? I know it sounds humorous and it sounds, like off the wall, but you got to really think about it because, and then also they attach themselves with some of the things that the Jewish man does because he circumcised babies with his mouth. He takes the foreskin from the baby. Have y'all seen that? Have you seen that? Well, if I'm saying something, just go look it up. Go ahead, sir. What you been saying?
That's what I.
What?
Before you said it, I was going to ask you because the Jewish. That's what I learned that the Jewish people do.
Yeah, they do that.
They eat it.
Yeah, they take a swig of oil in their mouth and they grab the baby. I'm trying to see if they do it at the 8th day. I think they do it at the 8th day or somewhere around, and they have a whole big ceremony. Grab the baby and take the skin off the baby, thing with their mouth. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
So with that, I mean, I've read about that, but also the mothers eat it.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah.
That's not so far-fetched because cultures around the world that don't necessarily go to hospitals for childbirth, mothers eat the placenta.
Mm-hmm.
And the medical field tells it's healthy for the mother, just as a dog will do it, or animals do it, and it's medically sound actually.
But is it necessary?
Well, Eskimo women do it. Women of different cultures.
What's the key word you just said?
What, Eskimo?
No, the other one. Different cultures.
Right. Well, you in society, well, not just necessarily society, but cultures around the world who
and if I could
don't go to the hospital.
The floor is open for questions too. Questions, comments, whatever. You know what I'm saying? The first damn near hour, Esau had the sound off the class. So, whatever y'all want to bring out, you know what I'm saying, is fine. We can just be combative with scripture. Why? You know what I'm saying? But I think we all on the same agreeing um, in the same mindset about what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, the other cultures, culturally, it's what they say, culturally sound, but biblically, it would be unclean according to God to do that. You see what I'm saying? And because there's so many different things that can happen from eating something of, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but I'm with you on that. Let me get three more scriptures in that we can open it up for the last 6 minutes of the class. All right. So what I want to get to is we read about Isaac last week, right? About Isaac and Jacob. Salakia. About Esau and Jacob coming from Isaac. We just read about the children of Isaac was going to have the promise of God, same promise that Abraham got. Okay. Just for time purposes, Isaac's sons, which were Jacob and Esau did not get the same blessing or promise or covenant that was given to the first, that was given to Jacob. Okay, Jacob got um, Jacob got the covenant that God had promised to Abraham and Isaac. That's why you always hear Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, speeding forward to the most important part, how are we the Israelites of the Bible? Go ahead.
Quick question. Just a question. God promised Abraham that his seed would be blessed.
Mm-hmm.
So even though Esau was his grandson, by him being Abraham's seed, was he still not to be blessed as well, just as Ishmael was?
He did get a blessing. Let me read it for you real quick. Hold on. Let's go to hold on 1 second. Where I want to start y'all with. Anybody got any questions before I go to this?
So
Uh-huh.
did Esau not have the birthright, but he just gave it away to Jacob?
Yeah, he did. He gave it away. But he still got a blessing too. But the blessing I'm talking about that Abraham and Isaac got, that blessing was, we read it, was to be kings and to rule, pretty much to rule the earth and be blessed. You understand? And many nations were going to come out of them. But with Esau's blessing that he got from his father Isaac, let's read. Let's read.
27.
Now let's drop down to verse 38. We could. Oh, it's good. Yeah, verse 38. It says, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept, and cried out loud. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. Meaning what? Huh? It's like Genesis chapter 27. verse. I'm at verse 38. And I just read 39. Let me read again. All right. So matter of fact, you read it for me. Read Genesis 27, chapter 27, verse 38. Start there for me.
Verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
Why was he crying like that?
Because Isaac had blessed Jacob. He had given Jacob the promise.
Right. He gave him the promise. He gave him what the Lord was going. What the Lord gave Isaac, he gave to Jacob. Like, this yours now. Of course, y'all know Jacob came out second. He was not the firstborn. In our culture, the firstborn would get the inheritance, right? Esau should have had the inheritance, but like Makashabai said, Esau didn't get it because he sold his birthright to his brother. You know what I'm saying? For a pot of what?
But it was already foretold that it would happen that way.
True, but the scripture was just playing out the scenes for people so they could see. You know what I'm saying? Why he shouldn't be ruling, why he shouldn't have received the blessing. You know what I'm saying? Like, how the hell you give away something that was never yours in the beginning? How you give away something? Not only that, but you gave it away for a pot of bloody soup. You know what I'm saying? That one morsel, that one morsel of meat, right? He gave it away to his brother, like whatever. It's nothing to him. Esau don't care nothing about God. He don't care about God rules, right? What does it mean? Did you read this part yet? No, you didn't. You read 38, right?
Mm-hmm.
Read 39 for me, Baba Gashal. Baba Gashal means please in Hebrew. All right.
And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth.
Stop right there. What does it mean, dwelling? What does dwelling mean? Anybody know?
Where he'll live.
And what does it mean, the fatness of the earth?
I ain't even understood though.
Before I go ahead,
Things are plentiful.
you said plentiful?
Plentiful.
Okay. What about you? The fatness of the earth.
Hardy,
What's another, a simpler word to say?
wealthy.
Wealthy,
Rich.
riches of the earth. Fatness, like say I'm getting fat. I'm eating over here. People, we say it symbolic. We say, man, we eating over here. I'm getting fat with it. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, wherever he go, wherever he's at in the earth, he's in some form of rulership, some form of having something, right? It says, fatness of the earth, and what else?
Oh, let me get back to it.
You good?
Fatness of the earth. And the dew of heaven from above.
Where the dew fall at?
On the ground.
Where though? Say the dew of heaven from above. Where does the dew not fall?
In the air.
So the dew fall on the earth. What is the earth? Remember, we say. I know a lot of people be like, "Well, why y'all say that?" We say that our oppressor, which we know, rules the earth. There's nowhere on the earth that you're not gonna find Esau. If you don't have him there physically, you're gonna have his philosophy, his doctrine, his religion, his money, his way of life, his eating habits, all of that. There's nowhere on the earth that Esau is not. That's his blessing. There's also some more to his blessing. Read verse 40.
And by thy sword shalt thou live.
What does that mean, by thy sword? Anybody? By thy sword. What do you do with a sword?
The war.
You go to war. You know what I'm saying? You conquer things. Right? This is another identity um, symbol or sign for a race of people. by the blessing that Isaac gave his son, Esau, right? Let me show y'all something. I've been trying to go on this little baby book, right? So this book right here, we talking about Esau, right? I'm gonna let the brother look at it. So we talking about Esau. Now this is an Edomite that wrote this. Okay, and there's many other books. All right. But Esau, it says, by thy sword shall thou live, meaning what? You gonna go to war, and your life is about war. Life is about unaliving, right? Read the rest of it for me.
And shalt serve thy brother.
Uh-huh.
And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion.
What does the word dominion mean? Anybody know?
Rule.
Rule, power. You understand? Go ahead.
Thou shalt break his yoke.
Uh-huh.
From off thy neck.
Uh-huh.
Continue.
Hmm.
And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
So he did what?
He hated him.
He hated Jacob because of the blessing that he received. Jacob was in rulership after this blessing. His younger brother. Just for y'all to understand, we were in power. Y'all seen the stuff about Putin, right? The Russian icons. Have y'all seen the videos where the Pope is kissing the feet of so-called black men? Have y'all seen the statues over there? Have y'all read about the Dark Ages, the Black Dynasty? Have y'all, for instance, I'm not agreeing with it, but there's many time stamps in history where we ruled. And there's a particular time when they became in rulership. Anybody know what time that was? When Esau's people became in full rulership. It's a time of a certain time period. The Romans, which was what before that? What is it called? It's an era. It's at the tip of your tongue. I know you know it. You know it too. You done heard about it. You know it. The Renaissance ages. You understand? Which mean what? New birth. Right? Some pictures and photos and videos that they be showing of the Edomites with the tails and living in the caves and all that. It's some formality to that. It's some real facts about them at a point in time when they didn't have the resources or the mindset or the power that we had. And they took it by what? Force. They conquered. You ever heard of Alexander the Great? Alexander the Great is in the Bible. It's in the book of Apocrypha, man. You heard about the Maccabees? He just talked about what did you just say, the Romans? Let me show you something. I want you to read this too. The Edomite wrote this book. You know, so don't people be saying, oh, well, y'all just got it. Read Esau for me right here, if you could. Read Esau's name. This is a baby book that you can buy on Amazon or anywhere. It costs some money too. Read about Esau out loud for me. It's a baby named Esau. He said who? What did he say? What time you say? Doing what? Rome, right? You said Rome when they came in power. Let's read real quick.
Esau, language, origin, cultural origins, Hebrew, the meaning is hairy. Spiritual connotation is reconciling, related names, nicknames, alternate names, Esau.
Mm-hmm.
Background story. Esau, the oldest son of Isaac and Rebekah, was born mere seconds before his twin brother Jacob.
Biblical. Okay.
All his body like a hairy mantle.
Mm-hmm.
So they named him Esau. The brothers struggled with each other, which began in the womb, continued all their lives.
Biblical.
Esau, a hunter, was favored by his father, while Rebekah preferred Jacob, the shepherd. But the Lord told Rebekah that of her two sons, the elder shall serve the younger. Foreseen
and spoken about, like you said, right?
And that is exactly what happened. First, Esau sold his birthright to Jacob for a bowl of red stew,
which was bloody meat because he liked to eat that reddish blood steak. Go ahead.
which gave him the name Edom or red.
Mm-hmm.
Later, Rebecca tricked the half-blind Isaac into giving his blessing to Jacob instead.
Mm-hmm.
Esau was incensed at the deception and planned to kill his brother. But Isaac sent Jacob away to live with Laban, his uncle. For his part, Esau settled in the land of Seir.
Mount Seir, you heard about that, right? You ever heard of Mount Seir? Okay, go ahead.
Which came to be known as the land of Edom.
The land of who?
Edom.
It's a. I can't. I hope y'all just keep coming to class. It's a lot of history in the Bible that match up with history of the earth from a geological standpoint, right? From artifact standpoint, from overall history and statues and all that. Okay, go ahead.
Years later, the two brothers reconciled. When Esau saw Jacob, he ran to meet him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him.
Mm-hmm.
And they wept.
Some of it a little far fetched, but we can keep going with it.
Esau had several wives, Ada, Basina, and her Oholibama.
Yeah, you don't even worry about it. They heathens.
And many children.
Mm-hmm.
In time, his descendants became a nation that rivaled Israel.
Which match up with what the Lord said, right? Go ahead.
Of interest, according to the commentaries on Hebrew scripture, Esau is considered a significant character in world history and the forefather of the Roman Empire.
He the what?
The forefather of the Roman
So
Empire.
what? You may raise your hand. What color? What nationality of today would Esau be? If he the forefather of the Romans, Italian. What are they though? See, because he had many wives. So even though those wives were Egyptian, were I'm just using Persian or Arabian or German or Polish or of all those different, they are still what? They still Esau. They still Edomites because the father puts the seed in the woman. The man puts the seed in the woman. They were what? The Italians are what nation? If you was to sum it up, what nation would they be? We got different sets of nations, right?
Oh, I'm not sure I understand because Italy is a country.
What would you call them if they came over here? What's a word would you call them? We had to categorize them in a book. We call African Americans. Of course, we're not all African Americans. What label do they have in writing down on a piece of paper in America? You would call them what? Euro who? Europeans. And Europeans are what? What's another word? Huh? White. They use the color white to describe that nation, just like they use the color black to describe every so-called African American. It's some dark colored skinned men, and it's funny to me that in my slavery, these men are not African American, but they look just like African Americans, and they are not. They are from the tribe of Manasseh. They are from the tribe of Aparium, right? The Puerto Ricans. But they look like hair texture, all of that. And you know what they put them on under as far as a category? Black. Somebody see them, they say black. Italian, they say white. The Romans, Esau is the forefather. He's the progenitor of the white race. The Romans, when you read about them, they were Caucasian men, European, Italian, Polish, German. They of the same race. So this man that was, remember when you read the book of Genesis, it say these are two different nations shall be separated from thy bowels. Even though Jacob and Esau are brothers, they are not. They were separated. The children of Jacob, who are Israelites according to the Bible, those are the Lord's chosen people. And the children of Esau are the Lord hates Esau. You know that, right? So if the Lord hates Esau, he's the forefather. Let's read something real quick. Let me show you something. I'm not making it up. Let's read. Let's go to the book of Romans.
I got a question.
Uh-huh.
Okay, the covenant that Abraham made, well, the covenant God made with Abraham in circumcision, and it was for all the men in his company, his camp, you know, his slaves.
You talking about just the
covenant
okay
itself with Abraham and
the promise that he made about many nations shall come out of thee.
Well, I'm going back to
the requirement of Abraham was the circumcision. That's the requirement for the promise. The requirement was the circumcision. Okay. Yeah.
Now I don't know that it happened, but quite sure Isaac would have had his boys circumcised. If Esau did so as well, would he not still be bound under that covenant, the promise that God made to Abraham?
They were separated.
When you say separated,
because the promise didn't go. The promise didn't go to Esau. It went to Jacob. You understand? And then also, let me show you this too, so you can see. Right? There's multiple things about Esau. The scripture says in Romans chapter 9, verse 21, that the Lord, you understand? Man, I'm gonna read it for you. Let me read this verse though. This is good. Let me read Romans chapter 9. I'm gonna start at verse 1, all right? And we're gonna get down to the part of why I'm saying, and why the Bible is also saying, what you just read, that the Romans are what? Esau is the forefather of the Romans, right? And we know that the Romans are what race, class? They what? Or for politically being correct, Caucasian or European. Now, that's Esau, and everything that come out of Esau are in that category. Okay? I'm going to read this verse first, and then I'm going to go to verse 1, all right? This is the book of Romans, chapter 9, and I'm going to read verse 11. Because what you asking me, right? All right, let me jump to the verse 9. This is verse 9, Romans chapter 9, verse 9. It says, for this is the word of promise. What we talking about, right? The covenant. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son, which was Isaac. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac. Rebekah was married to Isaac. The children, Esau and Jacob, come from who? Rebekah and Isaac. It says, for the children being not yet born, neither have done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger, right? As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. For he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. Y'all remember when the Most High was talking to Abraham, and he was like, is there anything that I cannot do? Like, you laughing at, I'm telling you, you're going to have a son. I'm telling your wife, she laughing. Is there anything that I can't do? Is there anything, if the God that we have has a limit on the power that he's able to project or to allow to happen in earth, then he's not a God.
Is the reason, because the reason that the Most High is saying this to them at this time, because of course he is the all-knowing God, right? He already knew what type of person Esau was gonna be. That he was gonna be.
I'm finna tell you this, and we'll get to it in multiple other classes. But in reading the scriptures, you're gonna find out that the thing, it wasn't even about Esau and Jacob. It was all about God showing his power. We go all the way back. That's why I wanted to start from the beginning. Remember, at the time, the Lord allowed the men that served him, they had power, they had rulership, all the way back to Noah's time. And they still displayed ignorance towards God. You see what I'm saying? So God has projected, go all the way back to Adam, when the Lord took Adam from all the other Adams and put him in the Garden of Eden and allowed him to have the power and dominion over everything in the earth at that time. And what had happened? He fell short. He disobeyed. Look at Cain and Abel. After seeing their mother and father get kicked out, after having to live where they at, where their mother and father got kicked out, the most beautiful place that had everything they could ever desire. Adam didn't even have to water the ground. He didn't have to till the ground or anything. Then he could just walk by and grab what he wanted. You understand? The Lord, even now, the Lord is allowing this condition that we live in to tell you, to let you know that he is the most high God, Yahweh. He the power. You understand? He's a God that demands respect, that demands discipline, that demands order, that demands full out submission and obedience at any given time in your life. Right? So if we go on back to this, and this is why I say this, right? It says, so then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that showeth mercy. For the scripture said unto Pharaoh, remember in Egypt, Pharaoh had power and rulership over us. Even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, Pharaoh, that I may show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. Therefore have he mercy on whom he have mercy, and whom he will be he hardened. Thou wilt say then unto me, why doeth he yet find fault? For who had resisted his will? Who resisted the Most High will? Nobody. You ain't even got. He didn't even have to do a goddamn thing. In the womb, the Lord, like you said earlier, it's been foreseen. The Lord put these things in position, and it's another thing for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to realize how powerful you are to serve the Most High God Yahweh. He go to the extreme with things. What a brother say, man, I take it there. I take it all the way. I go retarded with it. That's the God that you got. We possess the same spirit as the Most High. That's why we do it. We just put it on the wrong end sometimes, or a lot of times. Think about it. We took that energy and that time and that focus and put it on our God. Imagine where we would be. Imagine what kind of mindset and power we have in this earth right now. The Lord is allowing these conditions to show his power, not to everybody, but to us. You understand? It says, where we at? That my name might be declared throughout all the earth. Therefore have he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will harden. Thou wilt say then unto me, why doeth he yet find fault? For who have resisted his will? Nobody. Nay, but, O man, who art thou that replies against God? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Can you tell God? Can you really actually tell the Most High God? If your children, everybody got children here, right? Everybody got children here? If you don't have children, you dealt with children, right? If a child come to you and tell you why I got to do that, what you mean? I ain't doing what you tell me to do. What's your reasoning behind me doing this? Shall the thing say to the thing that formed it? You understand? Why hast thou made me dust? Like, why you created me? Why I got to do that? It says, have not the potter power over the clay. You ever seen a potter make a vessel, a cup or a vase? They mold that clay with that water. They take their hands and they spin it around and stick their hands in there and mold that clay. That's what the Lord did. You understand? To everything with just speaking it. It says, of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor. I'm gonna say a bold statement. Some people may not like it, but we read that the Lord hate Esau. We read that in the Bible, and we understand why. And his nation of people that come from Esau, that dwell on the entire wherever the dew falls, this man's people dwell there. If he's not there physically, his spirit, his religion, his doctrine, his way of life, his philosophy is there. You understand? He conquers with a sword. He goes through the earth and unalives people just for his pleasure. He unalives animals just for his pleasure. He eats the things that God says is disgusting. He lives the life that's against the Most High. You understand? This man that we read about is the forefather, the progenitor, the beginning of what race? We read it. What race is he? He a Caucasian man. So I know a lot of people get disturbed and be like, well, damn, why y'all saying that God hate the so-called man that look like Donald Trump? Because we saying it because it's biblically, historically, even in their own. I can't wait to put this bookshelf in here, and y'all can just go get the books off the shelf and just read them. It's so much facts about who these people are. Now, in saying that, that doesn't mean that we mistreat them. The hate that God talking about is not the same hate in your mind. Okay? Go ahead.
I'm a bit confused.
All right.
I got a lot of children. I ain't got no twins, but it's just kind of, I can't wrap my mind around parents having. I mean, yeah, I get fraternal twins as opposed to identical twins.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of baffling to think, even looking at it today. You got a couple, and they got a black baby and a white baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's baffling. I mean, I got a wild imagination, but that's like,
That's because you're using your imagination.
I'm trying to wrap my mind around me and this woman, me and this black woman, got a white baby and a black baby.
Let me ask you this.
I want to know who she have been
Let me
with.
ask you this. In the garden, what happened in the garden of Eden with Eve and the serpent? Describe that depiction to me from a form of imagination.
I ain't really never used imagination on that one.
Hit me with it. What you got?
Read it. She was beguiled.
By what?
A serpent.
What was the serpent?
Now that's a good question because if the serpent was cursed to crawl on his belly, question is, what did you do before you were on your belly? So if people say a snake is what became what we see today, but that would be the creature that was cursed. So what were you before you were cursed?
I'm gonna answer it to my.
So like, yeah, I pulled it up on Google. They have pictures of twins that's one black and one white.
Oh no, it's
Oh, okay.
it's beyond that part. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is you had something. Nobody else. So the serpent was a man. Okay, the serpent was not a physical snake. The words and terminology that's used in the Bible are described based on how we express ourselves. Remember, the book of Deuteronomy is written by who? Anybody know? Moses, right? And what is Moses? What tribe and nation does Moses come from? He's a
with the priest. Aaron was a priest as
he,
well.
he was a Levite. And he was what nationality was he now? And y'all gonna hear me say nationality? I'm saying that because I subscribe, we teach that we Israelites. He was an Israelite. He's from the tribe of Israel. He's from he was one of Judah's Salaki, one of Jacob's children. You understand? Our terminology and things that we use. This book, this Bible, from the time that Jacob had children, had his name, to the very end, is talking about Israel. Is talking about the wars and the condition and the traditions and culture of the Israelites and them battling other people and their enemies and their kingdom and their heaven and their hell. This entire Bible, after Israel getting his name and having children, is only talking about Israelites. It's only describing the things that pertain to Israel. When Moses wrote those books, Moses was telling you the history of who? If Moses is an Israelite, he tell you the history of who? Israel. The history that they're talking about in the book of Genesis, right? The things that happened in the book of Exodus, all the things that's written in the first 5 books of the Bible is talking about Israel. Go ahead.
Wouldn't the first 39 books of the Bible being the Old Testament, wouldn't that generally be about Israel?
Yeah, but I'm saying the reason I'm saying that is because people only talk about Moses, the book that Moses wrote, right? So the first 5 books, Moses wrote these books. He wrote the history of it, right? But the other books are all the other books are from who? The book of Judges is from who? Israelite. The book of Isaiah, the book of Philemon, the book of, God damn it, the New Testament. Who wrote the New Testament? Who wrote the majority of the New Testament?
Paul did.
And what is Paul?
Paul was a Jew, but
What is he?
what do you mean?
What was his nation? What was his nationality?
He was from Tarsus.
Let's go to Romans chapter 11 real quick. I'm gonna get you to read it, right? When we get 2 more, then I gotta let the class go, but they're gonna kick my tail with this. Read Romans chapter 11, verse 1. Let me say this before you read it though, so we all be clear. The first 5 books of the Bible was written by who? Moses. What nationality is Moses? He's an Israelite from the tribe of Levi. The other books that was written after Moses, what are those people? Israelites. We jump to the New Testament. We ain't even talk about the Apocrypha yet. We go to the New Testament and we read the books of the New Testament. Who wrote the majority of the New Testament? The brother already said, Paul. Read Romans chapter 11, verse 1. Baba Gashah.
Verse 1, I say then, has God cast away his people?
Who was God's people? According to the promise. Israelites. How did they get the promise? Because of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It say, I'm going to be their God, not any other God. I'm going to be a God unto them, right? Go ahead.
God forbid, for I also am an Israelite.
Who is this? Who talking? Who is that? That's Paul talking. He's saying he an Israelite. God forbid that God then cast away his people. Go ahead. And where we at? Where we at? Is this not Old Testament? This what? This the New Testament. And Paul did what? He wrote what? The majority of the New Testaments, the writings to.
But he wasn't writing to Israel.
Oh, he was. We're gonna get to it.
Now.
Go ahead.
You just said
He was writing to them.
Romans.
The book of Romans, there were Israelites in Rome who were believing that they were Romans, who lived the life of a Roman, who had been cast out of the kingdom of Israel or of Judah, you understand, a long time ago, exiled from their culture and their tradition and moved into another country and started to live like the heathens and call themselves African American, call themselves American, call themselves Negro. And all this whole time, they not that. They were actually what? Israelites, according to the Bible. Go ahead. Well, I'll finish that up though, for you hit me with something else.
Right, because I want to go right back to that. 11, 1, I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin.
Uh-huh.
God hath not cast away his people which he foreknew. Why?
Hey, let me ask you this. When did Paul realize um, that he should be more focused on his nationality than being a Roman? Because Paul used to murder, so like unalive Israelites.
But he was doing so.
When did he find out?
According to the law of Moses. Those that were following Jesus. I mean, you go back to why Jesus was crucified. Jesus was crucified for blasphemy. According to the Jewish tradition, unfortunately, what they were refusing to accept was that he was the Messiah.
You know why? Christ grew up and he lived amongst them in the synagogue. Christ was from Bethlehem, right? Christ was from the hood. Christ was not a Levite. He was a Judite. Those men had always thought that the prophecy of the man who was going to be the Messiah was going to come from their lineage, was going to come from amongst them. So when this man come on the scene, they like, man, this dude ain't even no Judite. I mean, ain't no Levi. He ain't even Levi. Like, and then he breaking down scriptures. He doing this, telling us that we going against the law and doing wrong. They went against the Most High because they thought from a man's standpoint, like, well, this is what supposed to happen. They never believed in the scriptures. They never believed in God. They were even given every year when them people gave money for their sins, they would have to do the same thing. They would have to give an offering up to the Lord. You understand? They would have to still do the same rituals and things that were supposed to be done. Going back to this about Paul, Paul realized that what he was doing wrong when he what? What happened to his eyes? Y'all remember? He was blinded, and a brother, an Israelite brother, helped him out. Going back to what I stated about the New Testament, Paul was writing testaments or letters to other Israelites in other countries that believed that they were Thessalonians, that believed that they were Roman, that believed that they was Corinth. Go to the book of Corinthians chapter 10. I'm gonna get this down because I can't. So like I said, I can't answer right now. Hold on 1 second, sir. Let me get this last scripture and I'm gonna close the class, all right? Go to the book of Corinth real quick. Chapter 10, 2 Corinthians. No, 1 Corinthians, chapter 10. Read chapter 10, 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1. I'm trying to prove something about how he was writing to other Israelites, all right? It's a good one. You got it?
Chapter 10, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant, how that all of your fathers were under the cloud.
Stop right there. Under the cloud. What cloud? This is he writing to the people. This is to the people in Corinth. Keep going. And past what?
passed through the sea.
Who was under the cloud and passed through the sea? Anybody?
The Israelites in the when they left Egypt,
right?
They were under a cloud.
And they passed through the sea.
Passed through the sea.
He said, moreover, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Right? Go ahead.
And were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea. And did all eat the same spiritual meat. And did all drink the same spiritual drink. For they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them. And that rock was Christ.
Let's go to another book. Let's go to another book. That's Romans. Then we went to Corinthians, chapter 1 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians talking about the same thing. Ephesians. Go to Ephesians. Right? Let's go to Ephesians 1:1.
There we go. Like that. Paul, an apostle of Jesus Christ by the will of God to the saints.
To the who?
The saints.
The who? The saints. Who are the saints? Who are the saints? Shamira.
Israelites.
Makashi, who are the saints? She said Israel are the saints. Hit me with it.
Okay. Okay, so Greeks are not Israelites, right?
No. Let me say this. Let me just give you the scripture while I'm saying that. This is Psalms chapter 148, verse 14. He also exalt the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him. The saints that the Bible is talking about throughout the entire Bible, those are the Israelites. When you hear the word saints, it's talking about Israel. Your question about the Greeks, right?
Well, Greeks are not Israelites. And
what was Paul calling himself? What was Paul saying that he was?
Paul said he was an Israelite.
What else? What else he said he was though?
An apostle.
No, before all that, what was it? Who? Who? Greek. Roman. Greek.
Okay, I guess my question is.
This is a good one right here.
Gentiles.
It's more than one. Here you go.
A Gentile is a non-Hebrew, right?
No. It could be a non-Hebrew. Who were the original Gentiles? We didn't get a chance, y'all, because the damn thing was messing up.
Would not Edomites be Gentiles?
They're Gentile, they're heathens, right? But it was a particular group of people that were actually Gentiles from a man named Noah, who dwelled on the isles of what? They dwelled on the isles and they were called what? Gentiles. And then there was another group of Gentiles. They were called Gentiles because they didn't never serve God, and their customs and traditions, what we call today, we call it what? Pagan. And then there was another set of Gentiles who lived amongst the Gentiles and were calling themselves what we call ourselves today: Greek, Roman, African American. We call ourselves heathen names. Hold on one second. Let's get some biblical definition real quick. Hellenistic Jews. All right. Go, I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
Well, those letters that Paul was writing to those churches, you had the churches, Church of Corinth, the Church of Ephesus.
Who was in them churches?
Well, that's my thing. Everybody was like when he went to when Peter went to Cornelius. Cornelius was an Italian, but he took Jews with him. Peter took Jews with him, or Hebrews to Cornelius. But Paul was not. I guess my question is, did not Paul travel to other places where the Gentiles were, and that salvation was given to those Gentiles?
Let's go to.
I mean, isn't that what Jesus told them to do? Go to the utmost parts of the world.
Off in the yeah. Hold on one second. I got a good one for you. Who he telling him to go to?
He told these Hebrews to go to the utmost parts of the world. Preaching in my name.
Hold on one second.
Was he saying goes just to? Because if it was given to Israel first.
What was given to them first?
If salvation was first given to Israel.
It was only given to Israel. Israel was the only one that was given salvation, period. Let me give you this other scripture first. Then we go to that. Let's see. What do I want? What do you need? Say your question again.
Oh. I guess what I was asking was not salvation given first to?
No, the one before that.
By Paul?
The question before that.
By Gentiles? Was not salvation given to the Jews first and then to the Gentiles? When Jesus established his church with the 12.
No, what did Jesus say? He said to everybody, right?
To the utmost parts of the earth.
Okay, let's read Matthew chapter 10. Let's read what Christ said out of his mouth.
Where was this?
Matthew chapter 10, verse 5. Matter of fact, we'll just start at, we start at 5. It's good. Because we was talking about the apostles, right? Right? It says, Matthew chapter 10, verse 5. These 12 Jesus sent forth, like he said, right? And commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
That's not the only one I was looking for.
Give me the other one. Give me the other one.
Let's see where it was. It may be at the beginning of Acts. I think that's what I'm looking for. I think. I'm not sure.
Go ahead. I got you.
I think it's in Acts.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Color it out. What, Acts 5 and 21? I need like 5 Bibles up here.
Let me see. That might be it.
Let's see. I'm listening to you too. Trying to see which one I want to give you.
No, that's not what I'm looking for.
I can't see shit with these damn glasses on.
It would probably be the end of John. That's what I think I'm looking for. The end of John. Where he said,
I'll give you another one. This is Christ's mouth. Then we can go back to Romans chapter 9, verse 1, what Paul was talking about. Because I said Paul wrote to only Israelites. This is the other thing, right, about who Christ was really sent for. This is Matthew chapter 15, and we can start at verse 24. It says, but he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Why is he saying lost? The lost sheep. Anybody know? What'd you say? Why is Christ saying the lost sheep?
Because when, like, part of the curses, wasn't when he took our.
Somebody just said it. Huh?
Because these are the lost sheep are the ones that don't know that they
What they call themselves?
Gentiles.
Gentile. Yeah. They call themselves Greek, Roman, Corinthian, Thessalonian. They call themselves everything. They call themselves I'm gonna keep saying it, African American. They live in amongst other They ain't even living amongst real. Oh, they ain't even living with Africans. How many Africans in our neighborhood, in our hood? How many times have the African man said that we African and that we should come back to Africa? How many times have the American man, the real American, he was Italian. That's who gave the name America their name, Italian man. But it's many other Edomites here that are not American, that are Spaniards, that are Italians, that are Polish, that are German. And they will tell you, I'm Irish, I'm Italian, I'm from Spain. They don't say they're American. Go ahead. You found it?
I found part of it, and it's in Romans 11.
Somebody give me James 1 and 1 too, if you could.
11.
What is it?
Romans 11:11.
Oh, man. Okay. Let's go there. Romans 11 and 11. Hit me with it.
I say then, and this is Paul speaking,
Mm-hmm.
have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid. But rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles for to provoke them to jealousy. And that the them there is the Jews. Now, if the fall of them be to be the riches of the world.
So, wait. Stay right there. Who was going to be jealous? We in Rome, right? Who has power and authority in Rome that still has some form of power and authority in Rome? The word Jew is short for the kingdom of Judah. It's short for Jew. Who made up, when you go read 1 Kings, 2 Kings, Samuel, and you read about our kingdom, who was in rulership at that time?
The Romans were in charge.
Who was taken into captivity last? What of our people, who was taken into captivity last? Anybody know?
I'm not sure.
Anybody know? Our kingdom, the kingdom of Judah, was made up of Benjamin, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Benjamin, Judah, and Levi, they were started to be called Jews, short for Judah. When they got into the kingdom, when they got into Rome, when Rome took over the kingdom and put them into captivity, they called them, they called the Levites, they called the Judites, and they called the Benjamites, they called them Jews. But in all actuality, it was Benjamin, Judah, and Levi. They called them Jews, short for the kingdom of Judah. You understand? The other people, the northern tribe, this is something you got to read. The northern tribe, Israel, was made up of the 10 other tribes. The kingdom split into two. That's when you read about in Ezekiel about the two sticks coming back together, right? The northern kingdom went into captivity first. So they were spread abroad amongst who? Everybody. And they had already started to take on the customs and traditions of the heathens, let alone the people that was exiled for breaking the laws, statutes, and commandments in both of those kingdoms. They went to other lands like Rome, Corinth, and became part of their culture. And all insane became Gentiles. The people who was jealous, like you said, the Sadducees and Pharisees, right? The men that were called Jews, they were provoked to jealousy because the same reason they was provoked to jealousy about Christ. They upset that now that the people who were once kicked out of the kingdom can now be accepted back in the kingdom if they accept Christ. That was not flying with them at all. They was like, no, that ain't, hell no, I can't go with that. You telling me in their mind, they thought they was keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, even in the time of their captivity. They kept the high holy days. They kept the Feast of Pentecost. They kept the Passover in Jerusalem. Christ was riding on a donkey to what? To Jerusalem. They were keeping the so-called righteous acts, but they were not righteous. They did not keep the law, statutes, and commandments. So naturally now Paul like, well, see, we're going to go to these people, and they are going to be God's chosen people. It's raining on your hand. Damn. But you see what I'm saying, right? We can go through more. It's so many scriptures that you'll bring up, And it's always going to relate back to the same thing. That's why I like it to go to the beginning of the Bible and bring out some significant things about it, because if even to say this at the end of the day, who is the kingdom of heaven for?
I have to say those that believe God.
Those that believe in God?
Believe God. Because, like I said, Peter went to Cornelius and the Holy Spirit fell upon Cornelius. But Cornelius wasn't attached, which would make him an Edomite.
Oh man, I can't wait. We got a lot to go through, and I like that. I like that you bring up things. What about what's the sister name? I like every sister that come here. I always give them Ruth. What about Ruth? What was she?
Ruth? You talking about who was it? Samuel's grandma?
That's Christ's great grandma. She in Christ's lineage.
Yeah, but who was?
What is she though? What's her nationality from your standpoint?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I gotta reread them.
Please read it and then come back and tell me what it is.
What she Samuel's grandma or somebody's?
I ain't even talking about the grandma part. I just want to know what nationality she was.
Read on her again.
Yeah. So, okay, Cornelius. What was the other thing? Huh?
You want him to read on it before I say it?
Yeah. Don't give it to him now.
Oh.
He gonna do his own thing. He gonna come back with 1,000 questions. Hey, matter of fact, look at that brother hand, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he just came back to class, got 1,000 questions. You gonna get the sisters, they're gonna beat me up because you keep me here about 30, 40 minutes. I don't mind.
I don't mean no harm.
I like it.
He told me if I got questions.
And I'm gonna try to answer every last one of them, you know what I'm saying? Huh? Yeah. Somebody said the kingdom is for Israel. That's right. The kingdom is for Israel. You know what I'm saying? Let me read this, then I'll close the class out. So, like, the last one you had was, don't let me forget, Romans chapter 11, verse 11, right? And was you finna go on this another scripture, or that was the only one? I no sweat. Okay, that's good. We was talking about the Gentiles, and you was your the significance of your question was about the jealousy part, right? Was the jealousy part or something else?
Well, it was
to provoke them to jealousy. No, the salvation is to come unto the Gentiles. Okay, gotcha.
It's about to throw down.
Go ahead, do your thing. Do your thing. You good to go? I'm just gonna say this last scripture, then I'm gonna roll, right? Well, I'm gonna leave this for the next class. I'm gonna leave Romans chapter 1 for the next class. All right, and then what I do, the next class, I just break down Romans 9, 10, and 11. Yeah, I'll do that. I still got other scriptures that I want to talk about by Israel, but it ain't no sweat. With that, I'm gonna close the class out. I'm gonna say Shalom, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahshabrakatah, Thumb, Shalom, Yahweh Shema Thumb Ba'ashim Yahweh Yahweh Shai to the brothers and sisters. I'm preaching officer 5,000 Tazadaki with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge down here in Jackson, Mississippi. If you're a brother or sister looking for information about the Bible, you got any biblical questions, any life questions, don't hesitate to call the number to the school. With that, Shalom.